finally, we can take it out for a proper test drive, the brand new Volvo XC90, specifically in the T8 plug-in hybrid version with all-wheel drive. We've already shown it to you at the world premiere from Gothenburg, where we presented all the details about this fantastic plug-in hybrid in a static display for you to check out. Today, we want to briefly touch on the exterior, briefly touch on the interior, but ultimately, the focus is on experiencing the drive of Volvo's impressive new flagship model. And of course, we want to test with you just how far its all-electric range can genuinely take us. Can it meet the factory claim of up to 70 kilometers? For those who are into a pure electric car, Volvo of course also offers the Volvo EX90. I'll link it for you too. It's fresh and brand new right here in the video description. For all of you who are saying, I need both the combustion engine and the electric drive, this video is exactly what you're looking for. Before we begin, make sure you're already part of the Einfach elektrische community. If not, we'd be thrilled if you could support us with your subscription. Now let's get started with the brand new Volvo XC90 T8. Plug-in hybrid all-wheel drives. And as always, we'll begin from the outside. Starting from the front, we'll take a look at the front end of the facelifted Volvo XC90. Here as the T8 plug-in hybrid. Here we have the contrasting grille, a really nice visual detail. We've got the bright trim, specifically ultra bright, which means it's finished in high gloss chrome. It's truly delightful to see in terms of quality and craftsmanship, as the Volvo customer naturally expects a refined and striking look in their flagship model. For those who prefer black over chrome, it's also available in a dark variant. And the Thor's hammer design here is just brilliant, very, very sleek. In the new LED signature, I really like it, even though Stefan always thinks of Tomahawk when it comes to Thor's hammer.
Ah, komisch.
But the joke has kind of gotten a bit boring over time, honestly. We've also got the active high beam system included on board. That's basically an ultra high resolution matrix LED system where you can dim and highlight specific sections. And if we take a little look over here to the side, we can see that it also comes with some big chunky shoes. Perfectly suited for the conditions, it's equipped with 21-inch winter wheels, considering we're currently in Salzburg, Austria, right at the airport. And then we're all set to take you out later for the very first test drive. We've installed two 75 horsepower engines here for this setup. Yeah, ultra bright, we've got a ton of chrome here. It's all over the roof rail and also around the window frames themselves as well. And also down at the rocker panel again, all of it is naturally meant to represent maximum quality. It starts at around 87,000 euros. The plug-in hybrid, the T8, starts at around 94,000 euros, I believe. And our test vehicle with the Bowers & Wilkins sound system, the fully loaded version with up to 7 seats, then goes for over 107,000 euros. But for that, you naturally get a whole lot of Volvo. Design features here also include the stunning new LED taillights, perfectly in line with Volvo's signature design style. I really like it. The entire car comes across as much fresher and more modern with this facelift compared to its predecessor. And when we get to the infotainment system later on, you'll see that the upgrade is absolutely worth it and makes a real difference. Let's talk about the technical specifications. It's 4.95 meters long, 1.92 meters wide, plus the mirrors, and 1.77 meters tall. For comparison, I stand at 1.85 meters tall, and it boasts a wheelbase of 2.98 meters. And here, as a T8 plug-in hybrid, it has a curb weight of over 2.2 tons. Of course, the technical specifications also include the powertrain performance. We have a system output of 335 kilowatts, equivalent to 450 horsepower and 709 newton meters of torque. Let's take a closer look at how that's all put together by lifting up this generous hood and having a quick peek right inside here. So we have here a 2-liter turbocharged engine with a compressor, 4 cylinders, delivering 280 kilowatts of power, 28 kilowatt. Of power and 400 newton meters of torque. Yeah, there's almost enough space here for a frunk for our typical charging cable in electric cars, but that's of course not possible due to the thermal management. How do we now get to 335 kilowatts? By placing an electric motor, so to speak, between the transmission and the engine with 107 kilowatts, 130 horsepower, and 309 newton meters of torque. And when you add that up, you naturally get to the 335 kilowatts, 455 horsepower, and 709 newton meters of torque. How a hood, of course, sounds at Volvo when you close it. We'll do that now, Stefan. Or 3, 2, 1. What's also pretty impressive is the pure electric power that allows the Volvo to drive up to 70 kilometers purely on electricity. For this, it has a battery pack installed which has a gross capacity of 18.8 kilowatt hours, of which 14.2 kilowatt hours can be used net. It gets charged here on the side through the charging port. Yes, first off, let's take a closer look at the battery pack itself in detail. I would have really hoped it could keep up with its competitors, who nowadays typically install 25 kilowatt hours or more in their energy storage systems. Whether it's perhaps the Porsche Cayenne, the Mercedes GLE, or other similar vehicles, to effortlessly achieve ranges of around 100 to 120 kilometers purely on electric power. At the charging port itself, I miss the CCS connector because that's what the competitive market offers. With 50 or 60 kilowatt fast charging, it's really convenient. When you're out shopping or taking a short break, you can quickly charge up in just about half an hour. Charge the empty battery to full and maybe continue driving fully electric, especially in urban areas. Many people do just that when they get a plug-in hybrid like this, and I was also surprised by the AC connection because Volvo is such a great electric car manufacturer. They actually always put three-phase 11 kilowatt chargers in their electric cars, and here, in their flagship model, they've installed a single-phase charger with up to 6.6 kilowatts. I find that a bit disappointing. Volvo was also present, and I would have wished for more charging power to perhaps recharge the battery faster on AC, especially for convenience. If we don't have a frunk, meaning a front trunk, then we absolutely need a proper spacious rear trunk. Don't you think that's fair?
I think there's something tucked away in there.
And let's take a look at what Volvo has to offer here with the flagship XC90 T8 plug-in hybrid. And that's really impressive. What's also impressive, somehow, I don't even know why, is that this tailgate doesn't open any further. That seems like an adjustment error though, maybe because the car was parked in the underground garage before. Because now, even with my 1.85 meters, I can comfortably fit underneath and don't bump my delicate little head like I did back then in the Polestar 2. Still hurts today? Yeah, let's come back here to the trunk. First, you've got a really cool feature before we get to the liter capacity. You can flip this up. Look how awesome this is. So we've got two carry-on suitcases in here. We've got my briefcase, my laptop bag here, as well as our camera backpack. And you can divide it up so you can perhaps now here, once again, separately from the other items, protect and maybe store your groceries or perhaps even a few crates of drinks, keeping them secure and organized. Awesome idea. If you need more space, you also have the option down here. I recommend you use it to utilize the corresponding charging cable for Schuko or also for Type 2 as needed. And if you don't use it, you'll still end up with a trunk space of 640 liters as it is now. That's measured up to the parcel shelf, Stefan.
So not even roof height.
Nah, so if we basically put a divider net and load it up to the roof, I'd estimate it definitely expands beyond 800 liters, making it one of the largest trunks in its class. You can also get it with 7 seats, which we showed you in Gothenburg, where in the back this car has it too. You can flip up the third row of seats and still have a good 300 liters of trunk space here, where you can then stack some carry-on suitcases a bit higher and maybe even go on a longer trip with 6 or 7 people, making it a practical option for family adventures or group outings. A bit poorly designed is having to reach all the way over here with the overhead compartment. So in everyday use, you can just slide it back and forth here and anchor it in place. I think it's really well done in 2 stages, and with 640 liters, we've got plenty of space here. Under the parcel shelf isn't enough. You can first close the trunk lid electrically.
Cool.
That's yet another feature Volvo provides, allowing for an additional 100 kilograms of roof load to be safely and securely mounted on the roof rails. That's pretty decent, isn't it?
That's solid. There's something to it.
And if you're also thinking about the option to tow a trailer, Stefan at Volvo once again provides you with even more possibilities for that.
Yes, even unbraked. Oh, nonsense. For braked trailers, we've actually got 750.
Unbraked then?
Yes, 2.4 metric tons.
2.4 tons for the plug-in hybrid. In the other variants, I believe it can reach up to 2.7 tons if I recall correctly. And a payload, and Volvo does this really well, up to 110 kilograms. That's important if you're planning to drive here to Fiat with 4 heavy bikes or e-bikes, perhaps heading to the scenic Mecklenburg Lake District, for example, to stay at our Spark Hotel Fasanary in Neustrelitz. Want to bring your bikes along and maybe spend a relaxing and enjoyable vacation with us in this beautiful scenic area? We've shown you everything outside. Let's step inside now and have a look at the interior space. We have double glazed windows here, which means two panes connected with a film, as Volvo also promises they've put a lot of effort into noise insulation. We'll definitely test that out with you later. On top of that, they've really put a lot of focus and effort into the interior design, and once again came up with an absolutely brilliant and unique mix of materials. There are animal-free options and of course options that include animal products. And here with a nice leather, then here with a beautifully crafted seam. We've got a fantastic piece of wood here, along with real aluminum, I'd say expertly laser cut for precision. With the Bowers and Wilkins system, we'll definitely give you a proper, high quality and immersive listening experience later on, so to speak. And here we've got a nice mix of materials. It feels almost like a neoprene fabric. Here again, Volvo aims to incorporate as high a percentage of recycled materials as possible into their vehicles without compromising on quality, and they're succeeding extremely well, right up to this wonderful fries counter here. Yes, in the lower section of the door, which we unfortunately see from all premium competitors by now, we always point this out as well, and it's something worth noting. The most wonderful plastic here is at least a bit soft underneath. Down here, as you so beautifully put it,
Yeah, the bag kind of burst, right?
and what I don't understand, dear friends of Volvo, is that here inside, there's just this felt, but over here, there's nothing like a carpet unfolded, and it rattles and rustles, right? But what's really cool is that you can easily fit a nice big bottle in here, making it perfect for keeping your drinks handy and well organized. I'd say, Stefan, hop on in. Let's have a closer look inside the XC90. Welcome to the completely transformed interior of the Volvo XC90. Right in the center, you'll immediately notice the main highlight, the sleek, all-new vertical display. Significantly larger, significantly more striking, significantly easier to read, and equipped with the latest technology, namely the Google Automotive System, meaning you've got the absolute best of all navigation systems from Google Maps seamlessly integrated into the vehicle, installed, and a highly advanced, future-ready vehicle control system in place. That means through the Google Play Store, you can of course later add various apps, more and more, which is absolutely fantastic, to basically integrate the car with Amazon Music and other services, making it a truly connected, versatile, and future-ready driving experience. Interesting features, so there will be more and more apps and possibilities to make the infotainment system even more modern, innovative, and truly future-proof, enhancing the overall driving experience. Let's stay chronological in the further progression. We've fitted a clearly readable head-up display, which projects the most important information through the windshield very effectively. Up top, we've got a nice leather finish, synthetic, soft, and padded with a neat, clean stitching detail. Taking a closer look at the dashboard, it's upholstered in a premium fabric featuring precise stitching that almost certainly conceals the airbag underneath. There's a nice wood trim here offering various options. Plus this rail here, which visually enhances the whole thing. Yes, what we of course also have is an infotainment display for the driver, where you can show not just the onboard computer, but also the navigation directly from the integrated Google Maps system. That's simple, clean, and elegant, as we're accustomed to from the Scandinavians. Yes, unfortunately manually adjustable in height and distance. Honestly, I'd say, in this vehicle class and at this price point, you might expect an automatic adjustment feature to be included as standard. Or Volvo could have been a bit more generous there, don't you think? Yes, we're being a bit demanding here, and we've got a nice faux leather steering wheel, which actually feels like real leather. Then also with the multifunction on the left, everything related to the adaptive cruise control up to the semi-autonomous assistance systems. We've got a nice center console lid. Let's test it out, where a slight artificial leather finish might lack in premium feel. And over here on the right, we have everything related to infotainment. Yes, let's go further down here. There we have, in principle, the classic controls that we know from many Volvos with the volume and quietness adjuster. This, of course, is perfect for quick access functions. Here for the hazard lights, front window defroster, rear window defroster, title skip, pause button. And what's really important is the glove compartment, but we'll come back to that a bit later on. Then we've probably got an inductive charging pad here, which for some reason doesn't seem to have any ventilation or airflow system. It's a bit of a shame.
We know it differently by now.
Exactly, because especially when you want to charge at higher speeds, the battery tends to get hot quickly, and it would naturally be quite nice to have some lighting there. Yes, the highlight for me still remains, if you please, take a good look at the gear shifter, showcasing that beautifully backlit crystal design. I hope you can kind of see it now in the daylight as well. At night, it's really truly like a gemstone. Volvo really went all out for you there, just like here. Look at this finest wood, real wood that you can slide, along with the two cup holders. When you think about how they've included such thoughtful details like the felt lining in the door compartments. Well, you can feel free to share your thoughts and rate that in the comments. Here we have this elegant piano lacquer surface, which in my opinion adds a touch of sophistication. As for piano lacquer, I find it very prone to fingerprints and scratches, but of course, that's a matter of taste. Here we have a rotary switch, which essentially enables us to start the engine and, well, also allows us to turn it off again, so to speak. Electronic parking brake auto hold function. And here we have another nice storage compartment, which unfortunately doesn't go as deep as in electric cars, because underneath it, of course, is our 8-speed transmission.
Right, we can't forget that. It's a hybrid after all.
And what also kind of, well, takes away a bit of storage space. Yeah. 2 USB-C ports, and back here we most likely have an additional optional feature for the seat heating included as well. Back there, Stefan, down below. Right, exactly, and probably a bit of control for the system here.
Exactly. Here are hidden USB-C ports, 2 of them.
Yeah.
And everything too, yeah.
Look, here's what I really love about it. Once again, there's this touch surface. So convenient, you see? See, works first try.
It's a bit of a hook, but it still works.
But look where Volvo really goes all out here for $107,000, Alcantara. As the Spaniard says, Alcantara, nice and light. I have to tell you, I actually like light Alcantara more than anthracite-colored now.
Weird, right? Tastes change.
Check it out, where Volvo really delivers. It's all faux leather with a stitching seam. You'd pay an extra 450 euros for that at Porsche. Volvo delivers that here in the top trim. And then, of course, they probably offer optionally a panoramic sliding glass roof that opens. I hope I'm not going to get wet here for you. Let's see, it's a bit wet from the rain here, but it's also really nice and opening up. And of course, soon in spring, we'll be able to let in the fresh Austrian air here in the Salzburg region, because I'm a total fan and all about the panoramic glass roof. But I've noticed with you, you're really so divided on the matter. So some people like it and love it, just like me, and others say, nah, there's also a bit of sound sensitivity that tends to come into play. I hardly ever open it anyway, I don't really need the daylight that's coming in through here. I prefer to keep it closed and save the money. And look, where Volvo spoils us, which we always complain about, 4 grab handles. But look, not just any old handles again, come on, take a look here, please.
Yeah, that's what I'm imagining. Look, what a cool seam they've made too.
Yeah, such a cross seam. I have to say, what Volvo truly masters is that subtle and refined Scandinavian understatement style, you know?
Yeah, very elegant.
From the outside, it might appear a bit more understated, not nearly as flashy or attention-grabbing as others. More flashy. SUVs, it's so understated and yet it delivers true luxury. That's really awesome, right?
Absolutely.
Volvo truly excels in ergonomics. Everything is perfectly designed, from the armrests to the thoughtfully placed elbow-friendly door handles, which I might have briefly overlooked earlier. That you have plenty of storage options here for your limbs, and in every situation, you can effortlessly adjust to find the most comfortable and ideal seating position. And to make that work, Volvo, in my opinion, has designed one of the most exceptional front seats on the market that you can purchase for the money. This thing truly boasts the quality of a premium lounge chair, incredibly soft yet firmly cushioned, featuring seat heating, seat ventilation depending on the trim, and an extension of the already generous leg rest for enhanced comfort and support on long drives. And it's just incredibly smooth.
Absolutely.
Here's excellent lumbar support with all areas carefully stitched to ensure maximum comfort and long-lasting durability throughout use. We have proper shoulder pads, we have a fully functional headrest. That's very, very important for Volvo, especially when it comes to crash safety. And it just feels extremely, extremely high quality. Yeah, as we've already mentioned, we typically have a massive storage space available in electric vehicles right here, where the ladies' bag fits, where the men's bag fits, or even my laptop or other bits and pieces. And that obviously completely disappears with the 8-speed transmission. What unfortunately doesn't disappear, though, is this button for the glove compartment. Take a look here, the luxurious Volvo once again outfitted with the finest felt material. Just like we'd expect in the doors, right? But here at least the plastic material is much softer.
True.
Also Vertic. So I have to say, the interior quality is really top-notch. Here the Alcantara comes down really nicely, that's why it doesn't rattle as much. Look, it's much duller than usual, as if it were hard plastic. But down here for the doorway with a proper finish, we might once again decide to use a harder type of plastic. I can live with that. After all, Volvo has to save a few cents somewhere, right? We'll skip the third row of seats. We already showed that to you at the world premiere in Gothenburg. We'll test out the rear seats where the height of 1.77 meters naturally comes into play. Sitting here in the SUV, Volvo has even incorporated an entry assist feature using the air suspension. A slight lowering, and honestly, it's just perfect for making entry into the XC90 so much easier. Where Volvo also provides plenty of space is here in the second row of seats. Here too, you have, in my opinion, the very high quality seats just without perforation. Carried to the rear seats, even got seat heating here. Stefan, did you turn it on for me?
Yes, of course. I wouldn't want you to play.
That's very noble of you, thank you. And it has this center armrest here, which feels a little bit flimsy to me.
It just doesn't fit somehow, does it? No, it really doesn't work at all.
What was I just thinking, I wonder?
Especially when you press the cup holder as well, then you have two edges there where you can then go... It's not well thought out, I believe.
Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed there too. Then I'd rather quickly fold it away before we go any further. Get upset about it. What's cool is that Volvo has integrated a child seat here. Look, you can fold it up like this. I think it's really well done, don't you?
Good, yeah, that's really clever.
Also a fantastic idea, right? And besides that, you've got ISOFIX attachments on the driver's side, on the passenger side. Of course, back here, you also have optional, really nice shades if you want to shield the kids a bit from the sun, or when Stefan drives me to the hotel in Berchtesgaden later on this evening tonight as well. So I can have a bit of privacy back here, and the fans and fanboys won't be able to wave. No, it was a joke. There's no one standing there waving at me. I never really know what the curtains are for.
Yeah, no one knows that?
But they definitely look elegant and have a great function. What really adds to it, of course, is the glass roof, even though it does slightly reduce the overall height. That is indeed a point of criticism for some, as it could potentially restrict your headspace, especially for taller, more developed individuals, but you have maximum flexibility here, so you can also easily adjust and shift the seat bench here accordingly to maximize the available luggage space. And you have the option to also adjust the angle of the rear seats into like a smooth, relaxing zone. I think that's going to be my spot later, Stefan, when you're driving. Or you can adjust it more upright like here if you want to read a book. As you please. What we also naturally have is a top-tier, premium quality door trim in the rear compartment. Here, Volvo naturally provides the maximum quality in the rear, just like in the front. We've shown you everything on the outside, we've shown you everything on the inside, and now we finally want to, because it's now possible, to experience the car live and see with you how far it can go fully electric, what kind of driving performance it has. How's the acceleration? How quiet inside? Now, the Volvo XC90 test drive. First up, we've got to talk about the turning circle. Normally it'd be smaller, especially with features like rear axle steering, but that's not the case with this model. The old XC90 was 12.10 meters, the new one's 12.40, so it's bigger. It's really fun to drive the XC90 so briskly around Stefan like this, enjoying the smooth handling. Let's see how long it can keep this up. We kick things off with the XC90 in Pure mode, all set and ready to go. Pure means fully electric. It's designed to cover up to 70 kilometers on a single charge. We'll test that out and share the detailed results with you in the second part of the video later on. That we really check if it can actually manage the 70 kilometers here in the hilly Salzburg region and see how it performs under such conditions. We're now driving in the Pure because we're in Salzburg and of course also in this urban environment. We don't want any additional emissions from the combustion engine. We need... Here on the highway, we're going to test out the advanced assistance systems of the new XC90, and Volvo has really, as I find, made significant progress. It starts with the fact that the steering wheel is capacitive, meaning 3 fingers on the wheel are enough for it to recognize that we are paying attention. It holds the center of the lane very, very nicely, very, very smoothly, even in a long, gently curving stretch of road. I still remember 5 years ago when we started the YouTube channel, the Volvos, with all due respect, were still weaving between the lines a bit unsteadily. On board, we've also installed the very latest technology, which includes features like steering assist, lane keeping assist, adaptive cruise control, and a range of other advanced systems with us, which perfectly maintains the distance to the vehicle in front in compliance with legal standards. Yes, that's semi-autonomous driving, exactly as you'd anticipate in this particular vehicle class. As you would naturally expect in this specific context and vehicle class, we've exited the highway And for your reference, it's electronically capped at a maximum speed of 180 kilometers per hour, while it can operate purely electric up to 140 kilometers per hour without any issues at all. Yes, let's talk about the driving modes. We have the hybrid version, where the car decides what it needs, whether it's purely electric or in combination with the combustion engine. Then we have power mode, perfect for when you truly want to maximize and push the limits of performance. The XC90 delivers up to 455 horsepower and 709 Newton meters of torque. We're driving in pure mode, which is the fully electric setting. You also have an off-road mode, where all the systems are tuned for maximum traction. And you have the all-wheel drive mode, which is especially useful when you're, like here, on the way to Berchtesgaden from Salzburg, maybe heading to a ski area, and need to drive on snow-covered or slippery roads for better stability and control. You can set the battery usage to auto. This is really well implemented here, where the car essentially takes charge and decides what to do on its own. You can set it to hold if you want to save the electric energy because you might still be driving into a city, like here, then near Salzburg or Munich. And you can even switch to charge, although personally, I'm not a fan of charging the battery via the combustion engine. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments, because otherwise we'd basically be relying on fossil to generate electricity. And nowadays, there are definitely more environmentally friendly, efficient, sustainable, practical, and accessible ways to recharge the battery. Let's check the interior noise levels at 50 kilometers per hour. 61 decibels, that's a pretty decent reading. Let's go ahead and accelerate to 70 kilometers per hour. 62, 63 decibels, and now we're accelerating up to 100 kilometers per hour, reaching 71 decibels. That's still an outstanding insulation value, truly remarkable for the specific driving conditions we're encountering here today, which is impressive. What I really appreciate about the Volvo XC90 is that it includes Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as an interface to mirror your phone seamlessly. Unfortunately, I discovered that it only works when it's wired.
Yeah, that's kind of not so cool, right?
So I would have definitely been thrilled if it were wireless too, right? Absolutely. Let's go ahead and test the sound system. We've got the Bowers and Wilkins right here with us, ready to roll. Oh, right now, just how clear and crisp the high tones are.
Right, nice and deep bass.
So if you're into audio and have the cash in hand, it's just a treat for the ears. We want to take you on a little trip through Serbia. I switched to power mode, and here you can really feel the power from the 335 kilowatt system. Even with the slightly wet roads here, the performance is still incredibly smooth and responsive, making the drive even more exhilarating and giving you that extra thrill on every turn. The precisely tuned air suspension ensures we can confidently navigate this winding road at a brisk pace, even with winter tires, maintaining both comfort and control throughout. We're kind of pushing the limits here. Did you notice, Stefan? Seriously, it's really enjoyable. Honestly nice. The center of the lane has hardly any sway or tilt movements. When we then pick up the pace and accelerate a bit more briskly up the serpentines, yes, I think it's a truly fantastic story to fully experience the Volvo XC90 with its impressive power unleashed here on this winding mountain road. To the Rottfeldstrasse is a stunning private road, a drive we highly recommend. If you're near Berchtesgaden, take the Volvo XC90 for a spin here. It's incredibly agile as we glide up the road, having switched to all-wheel drive for optimal traction and control. The blend of power, precision, and comfort truly shines, making it a perfect spot to experience this vehicle's capabilities. It's a thrilling yet serene drive, offering a unique combination of performance and breathtaking scenery that's hard to match. Because Stefan said, let's drive up the Rottfeldstrasse. I thought it was called Rottfeld. So like the horse, like it's driving or what? Yes, finally we're seeing it again. It's been quite a while since we've had a chance to see snow. We are here in mid-March near Berchtesgaden, and this is one of the most stunning panoramic roads, which, interestingly, is privately owned and requires a small toll fee for vehicles to pass through, that you can drive here. So definitely make sure to drive it, not just with us, but also when you're visiting the area, the Rottfeldstrasse. Here on the Rottfeldstrasse, we can of course also put the impressive traction of the all-wheel drive system to the test as we drive together with you. So here we have a nicely icy road that's been somewhat cleared by traffic but still offers quite a bit of challenge, and the Volvo truly shines here as well, effortlessly handling it with remarkable ease, precision and confidence. Let's hit 0 to 100. Stefan, countdown. 3, 2, 1, go! I'm giving it full throttle. 30, 40, 50, 60, 90, 100. And of course, we also want to test the brakes. There's absolutely no one behind us at all. And it's really hesitating hard when I press down on the brake pedal. Stefan, I hope you've got some killer numbers here on the Draghi GPS measurements.
So we've got 0 to 60 in 2.95, 0 to 100. Hey, respect. 5.82.
Is that just awesome?
On wet roads, it's somewhat manageable, especially with winter tires.
275's gripping.
Yeah, and it's rated at 5.4. So I'd say he's definitely capable of pulling it off, no doubt.
So Volvo can do it, right? And the 709 Newton meters of torque, they really reminded me of electromobility. That was seriously intense in terms of acceleration. With the T8 plug-in hybrid, you've got, in my opinion, a car that's not only extremely high-performing, but also impressively powerful and dynamic. And here we're going to accelerate out of it, and even then, just like that, out of the road, boom, we're at 80, boom, we're at 90, and in just a matter of a few seconds, we caught up to the cars passing by at 100. So if you're not just aiming for that calm, Scandinavian, eloquent driving vibe, then this is absolutely the car for you. A powerful machine where you can genuinely, and I mean genuinely, let loose and push it to its absolute limits, no holds barred whenever you want. We're going to park here in Berchtesgaden with you, just casually slotting into a parking spot, easy as that, and truly savoring the sheer simplicity of it all. And for that, the Volvo XC90 naturally comes equipped with modern assistance systems, such as, for example, the 360-degree camera system. And of course, it also has the corresponding ultrasonic sensors. Maybe I'll just move over a bit more, shall I?
Yeah, it's a bit bigger than you'd think, isn't it?
Yes, it's 4.95 meters long. And we have a nice top view here. That means you can really get a clear and good look at it from this angle. Adjusted according to your needs, of course. You have the option to have the rear view, including the top view, which gives you a comprehensive perspective. We had that earlier, the 360-degree feature here, but right now, I can't zoom in or adjust it in any way like this. Then you have the option here to display the side panels on the right and left sides. That's important if you go for those big fat 22-inch wheels so you don't end up accidentally scraping them. And when you want to drive out, we've got a nice 180-degree camera. Story, that's good, Stefan. Pan over here to the left because I can't see a thing through the Touareg. And then it's obviously fantastic when I get to experience a complete 180-degree perspective right here on the camera, so to speak. So, as you can see, even with a big ship like the Volvo XC90, 4.95 meters in length, 1.92 meters in width, I think you can drive it well in an urban environment. Only, as we already noted right at the start, the turning circle, it's 12.40 meters, which is definitely a bit on the wider side, I'd have to admit. Let's take a moment to discuss fuel consumption. When the tank is fully filled with its 71 liters, it displays a total range of 780 kilometers, and on top of that, you've got an additional 70 kilometers of purely electric driving capability, which is quite impressive. Which we're about to test with you shortly. We've really pushed it quite hard this time, putting it through some pretty intense driving conditions. Here over the Rosswaldstrasse, through the winding switchbacks, to really push it under some serious load conditions. And I have to say, when we take a look here, at 52.4 kilometers, we have a consumption of 9.9 liters per 100 kilometers. That's pretty decent, right?
Yeah, considering it's going down here.
And I think it's already quite realistic, probably, if you drive it smoothly, that you could manage with around 7 to 8 liters of super unleaded fuel, which seems pretty achievable and reasonable. But here in the mountains, when it's constantly going up and down, you might not reach the highest average speed, but you'll definitely notice higher fuel consumption. And I'm genuinely surprised it didn't end up significantly exceeding 10 liters in consumption.
No, that's still quite manageable, I'd say.
Because in the end, we're already dealing with a solid 2.2 tons of empty weight here. We've just arrived and pulled up to the hotel entrance right this moment. We'll stay here for the night, then tomorrow with fully charged batteries, head out with you. So we arrived here with 0% battery range left. We really drained the battery pretty hard on the way to the Berghoch Hotel as well, pushing it to its absolute limit by the time we got here, leaving no juice at all, completely empty and totally depleted. That means we'll fully charge the battery overnight, of course, and then focus on achieving the maximum possible range with you. That means I'll just snap my fingers now and then we'll be in the next day. New day, new battery status, Stefan. Take a look, please. We've got a fully charged battery again, completely topped up overnight. It's currently showing an electric range of 61 kilometers. As expected, I've already reset the trip computer to match. And now we're putting it to the test in pure mode, running entirely on electric power, utilizing the battery usage feature to see just how far the Volvo XC90 can go on electric power alone under real-world driving conditions. And for that, we'll be taking the drive from the Kempinski Berchtesgaden all the way over to Salzburg to test it out. I believe it's roughly around 50 kilometers if I'm remembering correctly, but we'll also figure it out by simply saying, "Hey Google, navigate us to the city center of Salzburg." Hey Google, take us to Salzburg.
All right, off to Salzburg we go. Let's get started now.
Exactly, we'll get the route started now. Oh, it's only 26 kilometers, so we've got plenty of time to spare. No need to rush at all today. But let's see how far the Volvo XC90 can go purely on electric power. We've started off with the heating and air conditioning system set to a comfortable 21 degrees Celsius. The outside temperature is currently 7 degrees Celsius. It snowed beautifully here overnight, covering everything in white. It's turned into a beautiful white paradise here in Berchtesgaden. Yeah, and of course the Volvo XC90 was parked in the underground garage, so it's not completely chilled out yet. I'm assuming that overnight, winter tires have already been mounted in the size 275/45 R21, which means we're completely prepared and entirely ready to handle the snowy and icy winter conditions here. The temperature is also dropping to 6 degrees. We'll have to see if that now just a temporary reading because he's coming from the underground garage or whether it's the actual outdoor temperature outside. Yes, we're now driving a bit down the mountain. The Kempinski Berchtesgaden is an absolutely stunning mountain resort featuring an incredible wellness area perfectly situated just above the charming town of Berchtesgaden. And yes, towards Salzburg, I think we have a nice federal road that passes through a few villages. A small part of it is a highway, and then of course also a bit of city traffic, so we can give you, I believe, a good indication in combined driving conditions, perhaps also in this mixed third scenario, of how far the Volvo XC90 can go purely on electric power. In the Volvo XC90, you also get the option of an adaptive air suspension, and that's a feature we have in our test car here. One I'd really recommend to you because it ensures comfort and performance, which we can clearly see on our test route and in various driving conditions. Test drives in the Alps where you can genuinely feel it in action. Every 500 times, or more precisely 500 times per second, it continuously adjusts and optimizes the ride comfort using advanced cameras and sensor technology. That means the adaptability essentially allows you to seamlessly switch between firm and comfortable modes. The chassis itself continuously monitors and adjusts to the conditions 500 times per second, delivering a truly innovative driving experience, which I've only experienced in a select few vehicles up to this point. And with the air suspension system, you also gain access to special features, such as an entry and exit assist function, such as a loading aid, where you can lower the rear of the vehicle to significantly reduce the height of the loading edge, making it much easier to load and unload items. It's a really useful feature, especially when you need to transport heavier items in the Volvo for added convenience. And of course, the suspension adjustment itself automatically adjusts the height level depending on the mode you've selected. That means when you switch to off-road mode, the vehicle automatically raises by about 4 centimeters. When you go into dynamic mode, specifically designed for sporty driving, it even lowers itself by 2 centimeters. The only feature you're missing, which some manufacturers do provide, is the ability to manually control and adjust the height level of the air suspension system. Because some of you really enjoy driving an SUV like that, perhaps always keeping it in the low mode, even without switching to dynamic mode for that sporty feel. Simply because they like the look better, that there isn't so much space in the wheel arches. And unfortunately, you can't control that here in the Volvo, at least we haven't found a way to do it ourselves. And with that, we can probably move on to the next point in our test drives regarding travel comfort. Many of you choose to go for such a large SUV because you also enjoy taking long trips and want to ensure a comfortable, relaxing, and thoroughly enjoyable journey every single step of the way, no matter the distance. To essentially provide you with a neutral platform where you can always consistently and thoroughly analyze, evaluate, and compare all of the tested vehicles in the best possible way, we've got Stefan's created the opometer, which consistently delivers the precise indication necessary for optimal travel comfort. Stefan, what's your overall impression so far today?
Yes, and I'll start, as always, with the seat again. I find the seat super comfortable. I have good side support, I have good thigh support. I can adjust the seat in every direction, which I think is pretty awesome and convenient. Which I honestly expect in an XC90. Also, super comfy air. Well, seat and seat cooling, everything's included. Very nice. And what I personally think is really cool. I like the suspension setup here. It feels just right and smooth. The adaptive air suspension. You already mentioned it earlier, especially now as we're driving through these serpentines and all. It doesn't throw you left and right, it balances it out nicely. The level in the turns is just really smooth and comfortable.
Yes, I can only confirm that. You've got it here, especially when you opt for the highest available trim level. What we're looking at right now is the ultra bright variant in this specific configuration. There's also an ultra dark variant available, featuring darker chrome finishes designed for the more sport-oriented Volvo enthusiasts. Then you also get the best seats we've installed here, paired with maximum travel comfort, all seamlessly integrated with the adaptive air suspension system for an unparalleled driving experience. And that's really fantastic. Right now we have very little traffic here because, well, and we can also take the opportunity to test this out a bit, we have almost no body roll or tilt movement. That means if we were to symbolically perform an elk test here and imagine some virtual cones, you'd notice in the Volvo XC90 that it's no longer a rocking horse, where it used to feel like back in 2001 or 2002, when everything with SUVs first started to take off. It's a whole different level of stability and control. We would have banged our heads together if we hadn't been careful, and that has really evolved over the last 20 years, especially with the introduction of these adaptive air suspensions featuring multiple chambers. The suspension level has shifted extremely in a positive direction. Nowadays, we're essentially driving in an SUV with a level of comfort and handling that's nearly on par with what you'd expect in a sedan. Of course, we have a slightly higher center of gravity due to the taller build, but manufacturers compensate for that accordingly. Extremely good suspensions again, and you can, as we demonstrated to you yesterday, how we powered through the serpentines, the Rossfeldstrasse. Even under challenging winter conditions with snow and ice, we managed to climb up there effortlessly and with complete control. So this is truly next level, and of course with Volvo, you always get maximum safety on board as well, because Volvo prides itself on being one of the safest car manufacturers worldwide, consistently prioritizing safety in every single aspect of their vehicle design and engineering. We also want to take you on a short stretch of the highway and of course keep an eye on our fuel consumption as we go to see how it performs during the drive and share the detailed results with you. Hey Stefan, we've already driven 22 kilometers at an average speed of 42 kilometers per hour and we still have 45 kilometers of pure electric range left. That's really impressive, don't you think? Especially considering the conditions we've been driving in and how efficiently we've managed so far. Because you can drive the Volvo XC90 purely electrically at speeds up to 140 kilometers per hour, though in Austria, 130 is still the maximum allowed. We've exited the highway, which means we drove from Berchtesgaden past Salzburg Airport and are now heading towards Salzburg North, continuing our journey along the route. Now we've driven down here to head into Salzburg city center, navigating the final stretch of our journey through urban traffic. Accordingly, Stefan, the Volvo is showing 8 kilometers of remaining range, and let's take another look at the trip computer. We've traveled 52.2 kilometers so far, with an average speed of 60 kilometers per hour. Not a single liter of gasoline has been used, of course, because we've been driving fully electric, and we've still got 8 kilometers ahead of us. I must say the Volvo is performing really well, and it's been a smooth and efficient journey throughout.
Yes, it delivers as promised.
We mustn't forget it's 18.8 kilowatt hours gross, 14.2 kilowatt hours net. That's really not that much. Other competitors have installed significantly larger battery packs to achieve greater ranges. Volvo has chosen to go this route as it is here. And yes, I believe the average maximum commuting distance in Germany is around 49 kilometers.
It's 450 kilometers.
Das schafft er locker, ne?
Because we've also been driving on the highway now, sometimes 100, sometimes 130, as it was permitted, so it's realistic for you guys. Where it's 100, we did 100 on country roads, 70 where it's 70, and 50 through towns. So I think if you were to only drive him through the city now, he would likely go significantly farther. Especially if you were to just use him in an urban setting for your everyday tasks and routines. Yes, we'll now take a look at exactly when the 2-liter auto combustion engine kicks in. I'm really curious to see how far we can get on pure electric power. By the way, if you're ever looking for an underground parking garage with fast internet in Salzburg, I highly recommend the Wi-Fi garage. Whenever you might also want to upload a video on YouTube, for example, at some point. Guys, now it's about to get seriously exciting. We've got just 1 kilometer of range left here in the battery. You can see this right here, and it's supposed to automatically switch from pure to hybrid mode any second now. The second the combustion engine kicks in, we'll be sure to update you immediately. Take a look, Stefan. We've now covered 58.7 kilometers at an average speed of 51 kilometers per hour. It shouldn't take much longer now. We're right in central Salzburg. If you zoom in there, we can essentially see, I believe it's the castle up ahead. Indeed, the Salzburg Castle, majestically perched on the mountain. That is, I believe, one of the highlights you can visit here in Salzburg, where you can go up and there. Now he's switched it over, as shown here on the display, hybrid mode, and he's activated the combustion engine. 0 kilometers of electric range, and we've managed 59.5 kilometers with an average speed of 50 kilometers per hour. That's a solid value, given that the combined WLTP rating is 63 kilometers with 71 kilometers in urban driving. And on mixed routes, including highways, it's a third of each, which is pretty impressive considering the varied driving conditions and speeds. I think you can be quite satisfied with 59.7 kilometers because you're really close to the combined WLTP range, which is impressive given the driving conditions. That's a good job, Volvo. And with that, let's wrap up our final thoughts and impressions on the Volvo XC90 together with Stefan here today. I think we're genuinely quite impressed with what Volvo has achieved in its new flagship, don't you agree? It's really something special.
Absolutely, I'm really impressed with the vehicle, especially in terms of its craftsmanship and overall quality. Yes, a beautiful car inside and out, honestly.
And particularly as a plug-in hybrid, it could very well act as the ideal intermediate step if you're not quite ready to fully commit to the electric version. That would be the Volvo EX90, for which we've also produced a video for you. Feel free to check out the video description. There are 2 videos available, including a review and also a consumption test drive. So you can get a clear overview if you're seeking all electric. Yes, here we essentially have 2 worlds. On one hand, the 2-liter petrol engine with solid performance, 228 kilowatts, plus the electric motor with 107 kilowatts. Combined, that gives us 335 kilowatts or 445 horsepower in total system output, 709 Newton meters, which you definitely feel. Because it nearly matches the acceleration figures from a standstill, 0 to 100, as per the manufacturer's specifications. Reaches. Yes. Our subject here comes in at 107,000 euros gross list price. That's a pretty hefty and significant gulp out of the bottle. But we've got the full premium package, the Bowers & Wilkins sound system, adaptive air suspension, and the Nappa leather interior, which also includes a seat massage feature. I can highly recommend it. I even treated myself to it a couple of times on the way to Salzburg. And so, I believe you get a luxury flagship that is pleasantly different from the competition. Not so... I would say it's not about going all out, but rather keeping it nicely understated, calm, and very matter-of-fact in its approach. That's where I think you're in excellent hands with Volvo, particularly if you're searching for a car that's refreshingly different, yet doesn't come across as overly flashy or showy, which is something you might notice with some of the competing brands on the market. Yes, I can only recommend it. If you're interested in the Volvo XC90, you can get it as a pure combustion engine model, starting at just under 80,000 euros. Feel free to stop by your nearest Volvo dealer of choice, take it for a test drive, preferably the plug-in hybrid, especially if you have the option to charge it electrically and use it in electric mode. That would naturally be my favorite from the XC90 lineup, and I'm curious to see how you rate the XC90. T8 plug-in hybrid all-wheel drive in the comments. And with that, we've reached the end of today's video with the Volvo XC90 T8 plug-in hybrid all-wheel drive. hybrid all-wheel drive. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Please take a moment to check if you're already part of the Simple Electric community today. We would be thrilled if you could support us with your subscription. It would truly make a difference and help the channel continue to grow even further. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay healthy and see you soon. Yours, Ollie, and you as well, Stefan.
Yeah, let me take a guess here. Yeah, I don't know. That's just how Volvo does it. They're pretty generous with that. They make everything sleek, but here, so neatly with that small cylinder placed right on top of it.
I don't know, the shark fin, they really could have done without that because then it would have been an almost perfect car, don't you think? It's just unnecessary.